Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Top Decked. Maybe the number one all-in-one inclusive Magic the Gathering app. I don't know, I'll leave that judgment call up to you, but we'll be checking them out, excuse me, after round one, so you can see what they've been up to. And since today's video is sponsored by Top Deck, I get to play whatever I want. And I saw this super sick 5-0 deck list from Utopia Mycon that is essentially a mono-white Affinity deck list that I just love. So Urza Saga from Modern Horizons 2, just absolutely huge legacy player now. And when you pair that alongside Ancient Tomb, you get a lot of wiggle room in what you can do with that strategy. And we're playing this Affinity style strategy that also has some hate bear elements. So we have Aethersworn Canonist in the main deck, as well as Esper Sentinel as these pseudo hate bears. And supporting it, we have a sort of artifact sub-theme. We have Portable Hole as a removal spell, which also does things like turn on Metalcraft. And we have Arcbound Ravager for a small +1/+1 counter sub-theme. I am very surprised to see Ginger Brood making an inclusion here. So in the original 5-0 deck list, there was the Artifact Javelineer card. I'm blanking on the exact name right now, but it's a one drop that gets like a javelin counter that you can use to ping something. And I pinged Utopia Mycon. I was like, hey, what do you think should be in that slot? And they said Ginger Brood. So it is a 1/1 haste artifact creature, which on the surface is kind of whatever, but some of that stuff like Bomat Courier, for example, does see legacy play. It turns out that if you are able to make it unblockable, and then you do something like, I don't know, throw a Shadow Spear on it, throw some +1/+1 counters on it, throw a piece of equipment on it, all of a sudden it does become a little bit more formidable. Our main deck is then rounded out with a handful of affinity things, including another newish card, Zabaz the Glimmerwasp. It's another modular card, and if a modular triggered ability, we put one or more +1/+1 counters on that, you put that many +1. You can also technically gain flying or destroy an artifact you control, but that portion probably doesn't come up very often. As far as the sideboard goes, there's a lot of anti-combo stuff here. You can see the Thorns, the Mindbreak Traps, the various Graveyard Hate, and Deafening Silence. Hopefully we're going to win game one versus a lot of fair stuff, just due to the presence of Urza Saga and Stoneforge Mystic in the same deck. I am super excited to try this one out. I will say I'm slightly surprised that we don't end up seeing something like a Cranial Plating in the main deck. We do have one Nettle Cyst in the sideboard. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but my head would definitely be in that Cranial Plating headspace. I'm just going to kind of keep that passively in the back of my head throughout this league and think about whether or not that's something I actually want. I do like that this is a mono white deck. There have been a couple of similar blue-white or sometimes even 3 or 4 color versions of these affinity decks floating around in the past, and the mana just felt a little bit clunky to me. I always treat an Ancient Tomb deck as being a 2-color deck in the first place, because that colorless mana and that acceleration works really well with some things, but perhaps not well with other things, and the mana base for this deck looks pretty tight. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. If you're a regular, throw me a like. It's the easiest way to support my content. And if you want to end up trying out this deck list or get one of your own decks on the channel, that information's in the video description. Time to Ginger Brute. Oh, yeah. Okay, so do I keep? I have 2 uncastable white cards. I have 1 utility card that's not particularly strong. I can't play 2 spells in 1 turn. I think I go ahead and ship this one. Oof. Second hand is worse, unfortunately. Third hand is quite good. I will be keeping this. I keep 5, so I'm going to throw back 1 land and 1 other card. Probably the Ravager. Either Ravager or Source the Plowshares. And then the next question is, do I keep Ancient Den or Plains? I'm going to keep the Ancient. Well, if I get rid of the Ravager, which I think I am going to do, I have less of a reason to need double Ancient Den right now. I don't need to enable Metalcraft or anything immediately. Yeah, I'll throw back the second Ancient Den so I can play up Plains on turn 1. I regret not swapping out my Plains art immensely. But that's okay. I can has card? Oh, I can has card. Nice. Ravager's an okay pickup, but like we just got rid of one of those, so it's not super necessary. Oh god. Oh god. Please stop. I have a family. Oh man. Just getting turn 1 here. 4, 5, 6 mana. It actually might not be for lethal. Wait, no, my opponent will just add Naws in all likelihood. Yeah. Alright, how bad is this gonna be? Oh god. It looks bad. Ooh, hold up. 5 total mana. This isn't enough mana for lethal yet. That should do it though. That's 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 5 lethal. Yeah. Alright. Oh, okay, you're going up. Okay, just main deck tendrils then rather than Burning Wish. Sure. Fuck. Alright. That was pod racing. Alright. Mindbreak Traps in for sure. Deafening Silence in for sure. Thorns in for sure. This stuff is technically playable, but I don't know that I'll actually want it. Where to start with removal? I do not want Swords to Plowshares. I probably do not need Shadow Spear. Soul Guide Lantern is eh. I don't love that sort of effect versus ES. Like, I'm probably not going to board in the Graveyard Hate. It's hard to make it work. Pull that. I'll pull at least one piece of equipment, if not two. Maybe I'll pull Jitte here. This leaves me at 62. Need to make 2 more cuts. I could go down to just Cauldra as my only piece of equipment, and that would be pretty reasonable. I think I'm going to keep the Portable Holes, because this can just nuke artifact mana that's played out. I think I like that. I'm going to go down a Ravager pretty easily. We could do something like this. I think the game where I'm on the play is totally fine most of the time. Oh, God. This lacks white mana. Otherwise, it has all the right tools. I'm going to mulligan. I'm going to try to... Fuck. No! Alright, 5-card hand is very good. I will throw back a redundant Mox Opal, and it... Am I going to need this Ancient Tomb? Ancient Den, Ginger Brute, Mox Opal. That's Metalcraft. Then I have Deafening Silence. Then I have Either Sworn Canonist on turn 2. Yeah, I can throw back this. Oh, wait, hold on. Can I get Canonist on 1? Ancient Tomb, Ginger Brute, Mox Opal. No. Okay, so let's throw back Mox Opal, Ancient Tomb. My opponent has also gone down to 5 cards. All right. So I go Ginger Brute, 2. Mox Opal is 3. Deafening Silence. Ginger Brute, my boy. It's a pretty hateful hand. Okay. Oh. Nice. Oh, baby. Be still, my beating heart. Ginger Brute's probably not getting removed in combat, right? But I should probably play one of these things now. Let's play the Thorn. Alright, and bash in for 1. It might be better to play the Canonist first just to accelerate the clock. But Thorn makes it more of a pain in the butt to do things like cantrip that can help my opponent set up. Okay. Alright, there goes an Echo under there. Nice. I'll play a Canonist this turn rather than another Ginger Brute. Hit for 1. Down to 17. God, this is hateful. I love it. I expect this to be a cantrip of some kind, yeah. And that's a shuffle, which is good news for me. Ooh, is my opponent missing land drops here? That's also good for me. Yeah, no shame in the concession there. On the draw, do I want to do anything like play another Disenchant or Surgical or anything? Not sure that I do. Like, I could play a Disenchant over, like, a Ravager, which is kind of a weak slot here, but at the end of the day, I do need to get my opponent dead somehow. I don't want to, like, cut too many threats. Okay. How do I feel about turn 2 Thorn as my first real play? This is a very tough hand. Because I am good against a piece of discard. My opponent has mulliganed once already. But I have faster hands. I'm going to keep this. Okay, my opponent has gone to 5. Okay. Good against discard. Yeah, your cantrip is fine. I'll just lead on an Esper Sentinel and then have either a Thorn or a Canonist on 2. Probably Canonist. We'll see, though. There's no shuffle. Alright. Let's see if my turn 2 hand is good enough. I'm kind of leaning on my opponent mulliganing a little bit here. Okay. Nice. Okay, they're paying, which very likely means that they can't go off this turn. I will probably play Saga over Canonist. Was no shuffle. Oh? Huh. This is awkward. I'm just going to take my attack while I think. There is 1 damage. Puts my opponent to 17. It's not this turn that's awkward, it's next turn that's awkward. Because if I play Canonist, I can't really double spell. If I play Thorn, I can't really double spell. I don't really want to play Urza's Saga yet. I kind of want to play mana inefficiently and play Deafening Silence because it's something that has the Aether's One Canonist effect, but is harder to remove. It's super weird to do that, but it feels right to me. Yeah, that's fine. That's my opponent's 1. Yeah, I didn't want to, like, just play the Canonist and then just get, like, massacred or something. And lose, like, my hate permanent and something else at the same time. Oh my god, yes. I'll swing in with this. Opponent goes to 15. I think this is a fine... Thorn? Thorn over Mindbreak? Thorn over Canonist, rather. I don't know. I could sit here and think about this for a very long time, but if I don't play the Thorn, then I have Mindbreak Trap for free. Yeah, that... Since we didn't die before our turn 2, like, we were just so well set up for that match. Like, we actually have a lot of hate for combo. Great start to the league. Alright, so this video was sponsored by TopDecked, and they are a Magic the Gathering companion app / website. And I linked all of my deck lists on here. One of my favorite things about this is that if you're a picture person, you could put pictures next to your cards and sort of remind yourself what's in the deck. So for example, with this Merfolk deck list, I chose the art for Hatred because I really hate Merfolk. But more generally, if you're just trying to scan through your deck lists and go like, hey, where was that league I played with Clever Luomancer? Oh, here it is. Oh, there was my 5-0 with Tezzeret Painter. And I think that's super useful. So consider checking out TopDecked if you are looking for a builder, deck builder, or, market prices of cards. It does a lot. Okay, this is a hand that's like almost there. It might even be a keep. So turn 1, I go Plains, Mox Opal, Esper Sentinel, pass. Turn 2, I can play Gingerbrute, and then Mox Opal is on. I'll have Portable Hole and Swords to Plowshares left over. Maybe this is a keep. I'm going to keep this and kind of see where this goes. I don't know, like, how objectively powerful this hand is, but it has some things going for it. And especially if I get to draw a card off this Esper Sentinel, I think the hand is fine. Alright, let's not draw a card off the Esper Sentinel. And we did get a 2-for-1 off it, but we were kind of keeping the hand based on hoping to get a card out of that. Oh, but if you just play like a Ragavan or something, yeah, we'll remove the shit out of that. Oh, and I drew a land, so that I have all sorts of options. Yep, okay. Let's go for the Portable Hole. We want to use those before the Swords to Plowshares, because Swords to Plowshares can hit a Murktide Regent. Do I want to play around Days? I can afford to. So I guess I will. Crash in for 1. Yeah, if we end up putting a couple of Ravager counters on this, getting this out of Lightning Bolt range, and it's also, like, pseudo-unblockable, pretty legit. Yeah, your Dragon Raid Channeler is fine. I'll play it around Days. Gingerbrute, no. We're not long for this world. Goodbye. Oh, hello. Ginger Brute's cousin. Ginger Brutus. Nice, nice. We'll continue to just play around days while it's free to do so. Get him! Alright, opponent's down to 16. We'll see if my opponent can find, like, yet another threat. My own board is not super threatening right now. I really need something like a Stoneforge Mystic for that to be the case. Okay, no shuffle. The Wasteland taking out my Ancient Den is a little annoying. I've been, like, very conscientiously trying to play around a days. Okay. Don't know about that sequencing personally. You've lost the ability to, like, draw a fetch, land, fetch, yada, yada, yada. Alright, and that was no shuffle. God damn. This also just lets me play around a days. Cool, cool. And my opponent used their Wasteland already. Just all around winning. The Wasteland and Murktide are the two things that I'm actively concerned about right now. So I can just let this die. I don't think I want to sacrifice any artifacts. Yeah, sure. I'll just let that die and then modular the counter on there. Yes. Yeah, opponent's down to 1 card. I've got Urza Saga in the hole here. Bash in for 2. Opponent's down to 13. Okay, yeah, fetch away. Oh, I think we get a turn where my opponent does not deploy a threat. That is exceptionally good for me. A new portable hole is not super necessary right now. I'll make a new Urza Saga token. Okay, my opponent is done with me. Or nothing? Like, I have 8 main deck removal spells. Do I want to keep the Pithing Needle for Wasteland? Like, I could board in this Nettle Cyst over, like, a Canonist or a Pithing Needle or something. Just kind of, like, fill a slot. I don't hate that. But it kind of seems like game 1 we're ready for what my opponent has to offer. And I'll keep this hand. It's a little awkward. Like, this is a 6-card hand because, like, we have the Cauldron in hand naturally. But I have some decent tools here. If my opponent leads on Ragavan, I probably have to play Portable Hole over Esper Sentinel on turn 1. Let's lead on the Mox Opal and see if that gets countered. Did not. Also do it like this. This turns on Metalcraft if this resolves. Okay, it doesn't resolve, but we save the Portable Hole for next turn. Which is totally fine. Now, a Wasteland is horrifying. I'm going to take 2 here. Opponent flipped a Canonist. Fuck! Oh god. The Ancient Den. The Ancient Den is gone. Everything is awful. I'm not 100% dead, but given that, like, I don't have Metalcraft, I'm not going to be able to get Urza Saga tokens. That's insult to injury. Life's pretty bad. I also have enough cheap stuff in my deck that my opponent can potentially find some good food. Alright, I'm down to 14. Okay, that one doesn't do anything. Bulk. Not to, like, Murktide levels of mana yet. Iteration is fine. Opponent already played their land drop, right? So, not actually super threatening. Yeah. Okay, now we're talking. Alright, so I play Ancient Den. And if I resolve an artifact, then I have Metalcraft. Let's swing for the fences here and try to get Portable Hole to work. Oh, hot damn. Alright, we're going to float a white mana and play a new Mox Opal. I'll keep this one. This is 1, 2, 3. This would be my 4th artifact. Yeah, I'm just going to make a 4/4 here rather than play out another card. I think a pair of 4/4s is better than, like, deploying, say, an Esper Sentinel this turn. Okay. Yeah, as long as we're dodging, like, Murktide here, I am golden. You turn this game around so quickly. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, yep, great. So, new construct token. Now, What do I want? I can just take the Shadow Spear, and then I have a realistic chance at powering through a Murktide. I could also just take a Soul Guide Lantern and nuke my opponent's graveyard. I think I'll take the Shadow Spear. This is 6/6. We'll try to make it 7/7. Nice. Crash in. We'll see if we get the chump block from my opponent. A gut shot on my Esper Sentinel. Opponent pays for it. That's fine. I am okay with hitting for 6 this turn. Okay, I have not hit for 6. All right, do you have a Murktide? Maybe, but not immediately. Okay. All right. Is seeming like Murktide. You got an 8/8. That's okay. I just need like any artifact. Yeah, sick. Okay, so let's go. Ooh, I could also just play the Lodestone Golem rather than get hasty with like trying to equip Shadow Spear. It plays this into Daze. Is that fine? Might be fine. This is a really annoying card and a threat in and of itself. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. My opponent can't attack with that Murktide right now. Okay, Expressive Iteration is pretty good for my opponent. I just need to dodge something crazy like a Meltdown or, heaven forbid, a Dress Down. God damn it, it's Meltdown. Okay, I mean, well, we were losing to that pretty much no matter what, right? Like, yeah, Portable Hole does not kill this. It only kills things with CMC 2 or less. I mean, I called what would beat me, right? Yep, we'll just run this back. All right. This does not have enough mana. I'm gonna mulligan this. It has arguably too much mana, but I probably keep it. Now, do I throw back the Ancient Tomb because it hurts me? I think I'm gonna throw back the Ravager. The Ravager just doesn't look particularly good right now. I'm gonna be a little reliant on my top decks looking good in order for me to win this game, but I don't think it's worth mulliganing again. All right. Okay, that's fine. All right. I hate that my first Dazeable play is going to be a 4-drop, but I don't think there's a lot that I get to do about that. I'd play around a Daze, but the cost is probably going to be pretty high. I also haven't exposed any of my lands to a Wasteland yet. If I just like play Ancient Den pass, then get Wastelanded, I'm in the same position where I'm trying to play around Daze again. I think especially since Lodestone Golem just gets lightning bolted anyway, I just like play it out next turn. 3 card types in graveyard. And another threat. That's bad for me. Alright, come on, top deck. Alright, which line leads to me winning more? Yeah, I don't like this. But I think I need to make a high upside play here. Gets punished by Daze and Lightning Bolt and Force. And maybe even Unholy Heat. Opponent's not quite there yet. Oh, that's a Lightning Bolt. Alright, that's not great for me. We'll be looking at playing a Canonist and then equipping it with a Shadow Spear then. For sure. This is also the 4th card type in graveyard. Taking 6. I think I'm just dead. I mean, maybe I can get like Canonist equipped with Shadow Spear and do some holy shit serious work. Alright. Well, we try it. I mean, if this works, I get to attempt a Cauldra with Shadow Spear equipped next turn. It's a lot. A lot that has to go right. But it would be dope if it worked. Ooh, a response. Don't just bolt my Stoneforge. Fuck. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm not gonna hard cast this. If I get to equip Canonist and attack, it's really like I'm taking 3 this turn. Although I could just die to a Lightning Bolt to the face this turn before I get the chance to gain some life back. Alright. Am I dead? Oh, well, Expressive Iteration is not particularly strong here. Although it is just a couple of looks for a Lightning Bolt. Okay. God damn it. Yep, alright. Unseed. We'll try again next round. Okay, I am going to keep this hand. I have to decide how I play out this hand. Like, is it Plains on turn 1? Is it Urza Saga on turn 1? Like, when am I playing these Urza Sagas? I think it's just turn 1 Ginger Brute, turn 2 Stoneforge, and then, like, play the Urza Saga on turn 3. Yeah, I think I like that. My opponent is mulliganing to 5 cards. If my opponent is on combo, there is not much that I can do about that in a game 1 scenario. Where I just, like, have the wrong side of the deck. Yeah, like Pithing Needle or maybe a Soul Guide Lantern is about the best I could do in terms of, like, Urza Saga targets. Oh, is there not a Grafdigger's Cage in the sideboard? No, there's not. I wonder if there should be. I am just going to go ahead and lead on Plains Ginger Brute and hope Stoneforge does cool shit, though. Before I know, like, if my opponent is a graveyard combo deck or whatever, I don't think it makes sense to just, like, naked jam Urza Saga and potentially not get constructs if my opponent is playing a fair deck but just had a particularly bad string of opening hands. Okay, that's a Reanimator land. Oh? That's not a Reanimator land. Oh, okay, we're playing against goblins. Opening hand is great. It is probably best to just portable hold that Ether Vial and start making constructs rather than go for the Stoneforge immediately. Like, Stoneforge immediately is sick and all, but my opponent took a mulligan to Oblivion, and I get a chance to remove their Ether Vial. Huh. I could portable hole and Esper Sentinel, but Esper Sentinel's not really going to do a ton. I could let them take the vial up to 1. Play Stoneforge this turn, then next turn put in Cauldra and portable hole it then. I'm good with that. Although, honestly, I think a lot of my lines led to victory there. Like, I could also just grab a Jitte here and put Jitte on a Ginger Brute, and, like, that would totally be fine as well. I think it's an all roads lead to Rome after my opponent mulligan to 5 sort of situation. Okay, sure. Yeah, take that land. What do you got for me? Sure. Kirk Prospector. So there could be a line here where my opponent puts in 1-drop and then plays Munitions Expert and kills my Stoneforge. A little annoying, but it's not actually all that bad in the grand scheme of things. If they take out my Ginger Brute here. They do not. Alright. Let's go ahead and portable hole. I'll take that Ether Vial away. I will play an Urza Saga. None of you have haste. I'll just make my critter unblockable here. I'll bash in for 1. We'll see if my opponent wants to trade Mog Fanatic for this. It's totally reasonable too, but they might not, depending on what their board looks like, or what their remaining 2 cards looks like. Alright, so we stuck in that point of damage. I'll play the Esper Sentinel. I don't care if my opponent uses Mog Fanatic to kill it. This is something that just increases my artifact count by 1. And next turn, I will get to Swords to Plowshares, some idiot, make an Urza Saga construct, and then just construct. Yeah, sure, that attack's fine. I'm not blocking. Okay. That's fine. Play a new Urza Saga. Good with attacking in with both of these. Hit them. Okay, no block and ping or anything. Opponent's down to 13. I'll pass the turn. Not another Munitions Expert or anything, which is good for me. Sure. You get your Goblin Friend. So my opponent has a good amount of chump blockers. I can just give Trample to my stuff, though. So this is a 4/4. Opponent's tapped out. I'll go ahead and like take my block here. Okay. No Fury or anything crazy like that. For the sake of my mana efficiency, I'm just going to go ahead and blow this out of the way. Okay, that's nice. I could get a Mox Opal and play a Stoneforge this turn. Okay, nice. Shadow Spear is also a totally fine pickup, but I think I just want this additional mana. So let's ship in with these. I have no idea what my opponent's plan with this whole, like, Mogmatic thing is. Okay, they are going to go ahead and finally pull the trigger on it. Alright, so they're down to 13, And they are facing down Cauldron next turn, as well as Jitte, when they are on 3 cards. Okay, my opponent's just dead. I also could have picked up Sword and Fire or Ice. Like, the world was my oyster there. Again, sort of similarly to the last round, I probably don't sideboard very much versus fair decks. Soul Guide Lantern is pretty dead. We'll swap that out for Nettle Cyst. And that's just a question of, like, do I want to play Disenchants for Ether Vials? I guess I will, because, like, Canonist is pretty medium. Canonist is pretty medium. Esper Sentinel is pretty medium. Ravager's okay in some situations and very bad in others because it just walks you into some weird spots where you can end up getting blown out by a Trash Master or a, what is it, Masked Vandal. Yeah, I'm probably keeping this hand. It just makes a bunch of artifacts, and then we just hope that my opponent doesn't have a Wasteland opening hand. As long as they don't have a Wasteland for turn 2, this hand is good against most things. I guess Goblin Lackey can also be scary. That's not scary here. Oh, that's super not scary here. Alright. Opal. Petal. Saga into Shadow Spear. This turns on Metalcraft, meaning that Mox Opal taps for mana, and I take out this Ether Vial, which is just disgusting. And then next turn I start making Urza's Saga Construct tokens. Okay. Ooh, opponent could have just ported down my Urza's Saga in my upkeep to keep me from getting a Construct. Okay. Do I want to equip Shadow Spear this turn? I don't think so. I don't think I want the Lotus Petal to leave play as of right now. I don't think Sting Scourger has Flash. I'm not sure exactly what beats me right now, like what allows this Lackey to connect. Okay, great. Make a dude. It is large. Let's make a dude. It is also large. I am not sure what I'm getting with this Urza Saga. Zabaz for a blocker. Gingerbrute. Can Gingerbrute block? Gingerbrute can block. Zabaz can also block, but has some slightly more interesting utility. I could also just, like, stop or Schadenport. Don't know that that matters. Grab Zabaz. So that I can still Swords to Plowshares, I think I go ahead and Ancient Tomb. We'll attempt an equip here. I would like to bash in for 9. Okay, looks like it is successful. Alright, so I'm at 27. I have 2 blockers for Goblin Lackeys plus the Swords to Plowshares if shit gets weird. I also just have all this trample damage to boot. The Zabaz can also fly. Don't melt me down, I guess? Okay. I mean, that could shrink my stuff. That's definitely relevant. I guess Natural Trash Master in hand could also be problematic. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Alright, no attacks for my opponent. I don't need to Swords to Plowshares now. Oh, that makes all sorts of things fucked up for my opponent in terms of, like, blocks and such. How many creatures am I leaving back? Probably just the Ravager is fine. I'll leave back the Zabaz, though, too, I think. I'm trying to do this turn without necessarily, like, using my Swords to Plowshares. Okay, so here my opponent takes 8. So I could put 2 counters on this, right? But that's really only, like, increasing it by 1. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, that's fine. I maybe played too conservatively there, and I could have just, like, forced 1 more creature off the board by giving Zabaz flying, but I really don't want, like, I don't want to drop the Swords to Plowshares. I just feel so safe right now. Like, my opponent has to be playing something crazy to beat me from this position. Oh, that's fine. Let's see. So if I junk Lackey in response, my opponent could kill both of my constructs and then still die quite handily at that. Yeah. Yeah, I will be presenting 4 different lethal threats. Yeah, that guy, my opponent sees the writing on the wall. Okay, the singular lotus petal hand is not gonna do it here. That's a mulligan. How is this one? Land Gingerbrute Mox. Can't turn on Metalcraft. Don't have a follow-up turn 2 play. This hand is one land or one artifact away from being good, but I think I would rather go to 5. This hand is quite good. I will keep this. Portable Hole is going back. I think Gingerbrute goes back. I think I keep this fast mana. Because this is just kind of an objectively powerful thing that I'm about to do. Opponent went to 5. Let's go Petal, you, and a turn 1 Stoneforge Mystic for Kaldra. Yes. Oh, baby. Well, here's to hoping it works. Oh shit, I don't have Metalcraft anymore. Shit. Oh, that's awkward. We're gonna assume that this works itself out. Life is fucking cruel, man. Yep, don't have the ability to activate this. Guess we're crashing in for 2. Not quite as good as I thought it was going to be, but still a pretty respectable mull to 5. Okay. Opponent's just gonna chill. Okay, this is awkward, but I'm in for it. So this will give me Metalcraft for Mox Opal, so I can treat Mox Opal like a Lotus Petal. Ooh. Yeah, give me that card. Alright, we're gonna try this. It gets a little awkward if a removal spell gets used on an Esper Sentinel or a Stoneforge here, but like say Levy. I'll draw some cards out of it in all likelihood. Okay. Alright. The Force of Negation, and then my opponent gets to pay for the tax. So I lose a Mox Opal that otherwise would have been kind of dead, and still hit my opponent for 3. Or, sorry, for 2. That's not bad. Like, I definitely take that. What do you got? Sure, this is fine as long as I get this Cauldron in play. Which I should do on my turn, minus something happening to this Stoneforge. And that's an okay follow-up. Let's get Cauldron in play. Do my living weapon thing. And bash in for 7. Opponent needs to have a Terminus Caliber draw. Okay. That is not a Terminus. They can get an Uro. Okay. They're just gonna pass. That's fine. I guess I'll just send everything in. I don't care if I lose an idiot to Endurance. Send them. Oh yeah. Alright, so taxes paid on one of them. Taxes paid on the other one. Okay, opponent found Swords to Plowshares for the Germ. They still take 3. The Uro coming back is now a problem without the Germ token in play. But hopefully my Esper Sentinels are annoying enough. Horrible Hole is not going to get this. Because it's CMC 2 or less. So here's a downside of it versus something like Swords to Plowshares. Okay, I mean, I can rip another Soul Land and just re-equip Cauldron for 7 mana. Like, that is a thing that can happen. Now I'm just chilling, unfortunately. Yep. I think between my mull to 5 and losing the Cauldron and, like, the Force of Negation happening that I am a little behind now. Do I actually want to attack? Probably, but I think I'll play an Ether Sworn Canonist pre-combat. Just kind of limit some of the shenanigans that could happen. Okay, my opponent might have an Endurance. Alright, what are you doing? 5. Oh, Shark Typhoon. Sure. Alright, so post-combat I'll just kill that token. Opponent has done like a surprisingly good job of dealing with my Esper Sentinels. Rough. And now I'm just like living in fear of like flash creatures and Shark Typhoons. Here's to another Ancient Tomb off the top, please. Okay. Not great for me. Alright, so they're taking out my Esper Sentinel. I don't know exactly how good that is at this point. I mean, I guess at this point I'm just kind of forced to continue to attack in. I could play the Ravager mid-combat to try to save Canonist from an Endurance. I'm not sure whether like playing around that specific thing is better
than just keeping some elements of surprise. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so my opponent didn't even want that to die because this is a 2-turn clock on its own. Understandable. 1, 2, 3, 4 things I could sacrifice. Not sure if I'm supposed to take the hit here or if I'm supposed to do some Ravager shenanigans, but I think I'm gonna wait a turn. Just take this hit. I think this one I slipped away. Like, my opponent has 7 cards. My opponent has gained 9-ish life. I don't remember exactly how much, but enough. I can maybe get Cauldra equipped this turn and, like, pull something out of my butt, but it's pretty unlikely. Okay. Jitte. Okay. I mean, I'll try. I think that's a no, sir. That's a no, sir. Okay. At that point, I think I can go ahead and concede the game. Like, I can maybe stay alive for a turn cycle, but we're not beating what my opponent has going on. Again, we don't particularly have great things for these sorts of matchups. I'll probably board in Nettle Cyst over something random, like maybe a Pithing Needle. And probably call it good there. Portable Hole is also... Actually, Portable Hole is probably worse than Pithing Needle. Now, Portable Hole can kill shark tokens. It's not, like, totally dead. I could go for Thorns and just try to gum up my opponent's mana. Guess I can Needle the Shark Typhoon. Grimoire Portable Hole, question mark, for the Nettle Cyst. I don't know about the Thorns. Alright, what are we working with? Not this hand. Hand's awkward. I think I keep it rather than going down another card. But I'm not super fond of this hand. Because I'm going to lose the Urza's Saga at some point. And I might not have more lands, or I might not want to be dedicating my mana to those things. But I don't think I get to get rid of double Stoneforge at this point. This is a long think. See what my opponent decides to do when everything shakes out. Oh, nope. It's entering play. I'll grab Cauldra, and we'll see what you can do. Alright, new land drop. Into Anticipation on my turn. Okay. So now I get to decide, do I want to try to activate Urza's Saga twice, or do I want to try to put in the Cauldra this turn? The Cauldra is not great against Swords to Plowshares. I think I'd rather activate my Urza's Saga. I'm gonna swing in for 1. Like, since I have a second Stoneforge, I don't necessarily have to go full aggro here. I can avoid playing into my opponent's hand. I think I will do so. Alright, double fetch. Okay. Have a Nice Fang or anything? You do. That's fine. Although, honestly, well, no, they can't trade. It's interesting that they, like, played this and then got 2 non-basics, so they're not working towards Death Touch immediately. Oh, I mean, I'll take it. I'm plenty happy about it. Alright, so there's a Duder. I'll activate this again. Alright, so now they're 2/2s, about to become 3/3s. What do I want out of this stuff? Opal's okay. I wish I had a Retrofitter Foundry right here. I think I'm gonna just take an Opal. A lot going on in terms of mana needs right now. Play an Esper Sentinel. Just, my opponent seemed to really respect that tax last game. Okay, we are getting a response. Interesting mana tapping there. That does not leave up a Source of Plowshares. Now I can't get hit by an Endurance. I'll go ahead and attack the Stoneforge in. Here's to hoping I don't get Terminus. That play looks an awful lot like Terminus is coming. Yep. I mean, I don't think I get to beat Terminus with this style of deck. That is what it is. Yep. Alright, so I get a new Stoneforge and a Shadow Spear as follow-ups, which is medium. Let's try it. Okay. Yes, I think this is a Sword of Fire and Ice. And then I will play out the Shadow Spear just purely to work towards Metalcraft. But I think my opponent is, like, very squarely in the driver's seat here. Okay. Yep. Alright. Well, I've got something to Pithing Needle now if I randomly draw that. Just fate sealing me immediately. I don't... Interesting. Okay, so my opponent left that there. That's fine with me, I guess. We'll play a Canonist, and then we'll just go ahead and portable hole that sucker. Make it easier to clear the way in the future. I'm at a disadvantage here. Can't realistically kill this Jace next turn, even if I draw a land to equip Sword of Fire and Ice. And this is bad because it lets my opponent dig for removal spells. It lets them set up Terminus. Yeah, just all around bad news. Alright, just Stoneforge Parade, here we go. I'll get Nettle Cyst with this one, I think, because it just provides a body. I could cast Jete this turn, but I don't know. Actually, I guess this technically does things. I think that's better than leaving up Swords to Plowshares. Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine. Get swordsed. Goodbye. And the next turn I have swords this, and then play Nettle Cyst. If I were the opponent there, I really would have considered bouncing Snapcaster Mage. I have access to Snapcaster Prismatic Ending. Like, you could Snapcaster Prismatic Ending, get rid of Portable Hole, draw a card. Rude. Like, luckily I have an answer to that, but my opponent could have, like, a Force of Negation. Oh, interesting. Sure. I go to 20. Shit, now I can't really use this Swords to Plowshares on Meddling Mage. I can play Nettle Cyst, and then Jace will just minus and bounce the token. All a little annoying. Also annoying is that I don't have 5 mana, so I can't do both of these things. Well, I guess it's this. Alright, it resolves. Yes. I'm gonna grab Jete and then just hold up Swords to Plowshares, I think, rather than play out the Jete. I guess I could remove the Uro on my turn, but I'd rather just have the ability to fire this off now, so that I can better adjust my draws. Yeah, Plains is not going to cast Uro. This stuff will, though. Also, I'm a little surprised that Meddling Mage got boarded in. This does not seem like the sort of thing that is super good against what I'm doing. Okay. I'm going to take another draw, but if my Stoneforge leaves play this turn, I'm probably going to concede. Yeah, my opponent just has so much removal and so much card advantage right now. I'll take one more draw, but unless it's a banger, I think we're done. This matchup feels real bad. We don't get much improvement in the post-sideboard games. And, like, against this sort of stuff, the Thorns wouldn't even be really doing much. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and save the time and concede here. GG's. Okay, this hand essentially boils down to how good do I think Urza's Saga is, and I think it's quite good. Urza Saga into Ancient Tomb is a pretty powerful opener, and if I draw any cheap or free artifacts, this hand just gets even better. I have 2 removal spells for if we're playing against something like Delver. The only thing I don't want to see is a turn 1 Wasteland. Not a turn 1 Wasteland. Great. Okay, Esper Sentinel is totally fine. I'll play that a bit later. I just need to play the Ancient Tomb this turn to get both of my Urza Saga activations ASAP. Alright, you've got your land drop. Are you going to do anything? We need to figure out what deck my opponent is playing. Probably Blue-White Red Delver deck. They could be a Miracles deck. They could just be a more mid-rangey Expressive Iteration Mush pile. Okay, Ragavan confirmed. So we'll go end step, make an idiot. Oh, you've got a Stifle? That's fine. I mean, it's obviously good, but I don't think that's the end of the world for me by any stretch of the imagination. I am, unfortunately, taking just a little bit more damage than I would like here. Alright, so Shadow Spear versus Mox Opal. I think I just want the Shadow Spear. Alright, so then I play Ancient Den. These are 3/3s. Then I play Lotus Petal. It's a 4/4. Then I play Portable Hole. It's a 5/5. And my opponent was F6 through a lot of that, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this into that. Great. Would have attacked for 6 there if my opponent didn't have the Stifle. This probably wins at this point. Ooh, opponent has their own Urza Sagas. Though theirs is not going to be nearly as good as mine. I have so much more support. Okay, they have an answer to my construct. My hand has gotten significantly weaker. They love E. So let's get my equip on and start crashing in. With Esper Sentinel bigger, the tax increases, which is kind of nice. I could definitely use some cards, but my opponent is probably using their mana this turn to just make their Urza Saga Construct token. Could be wrong, though. Things could happen. Okay. Alright. Alright, I just drew Ancient Tomb, which is not what I'm looking for. Yuck. That is not good. Alright, I'll crash in if my opponent makes the Urza Saga Construct token. I'll go for Swords to Plowshares. But I need to build up this life while I can, because my opponent is going to outclass me later in the game. Alright, attempt Swords to Plowshares. Alright, force pitching a Stifle. I draw a new card. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the best for me. We're going to trade these here. And then I will go ahead and just portable hole away this Retrofitter Foundry. Too much of a pain in the butt if I leave it alone. So we took out the Retrofitter Foundry, and my opponent's unlikely to have a second one. They might not get too much out of this Urza Saga. Yeah. That's just cashing it in for a random card draw. That's fine. Alright. I think this one's over. Yeah, that's not super strong here without support. Yeah, draw your card. Although honestly, I wonder a little bit whether or not that card is better than increasing the size of multiple constructs. Like, you can't underestimate how good it is to just have a couple of artifacts sitting in play. Okay. This Esper Sentinel does not get to rumble right now. Alright, let's floop a Lodestone Golem into play. And I think it's better to equip that so that this comes out of the range of a Lightning Bolt. And no attacks here. And my opponent will make an Urza Saga Construct token. And we'll see if my opponent ends up having a third artifact to search for. It's very possible that they have something like a main deck Pithing Needle. Yep, Construct, I get it. Okay, they do not. They just have 2 artifacts. Their constructs can't profitably attack right now. Alright, so I'm going to get a card here. Ooh. Turn off auto yields. I could attack in with this Lodestone. My opponent could triple block, and then I could Swords to Plowshares. Eat their board, leave myself with an Esper Sentinel. Sort of an interesting idea. Am I good with that? Yeah, I think I'm good with that. Get in there, bud. Oh wow, they're just going to take the hit. Alright, I will play an Aethersworn Canonist. And I think I'll go ahead and move the Shadow Spear. Do some sword and shield type maneuvers. The Lodestone Golem becomes boltable, but now my opponent's attacks in become very bad for them if they can't counter this Swords to Plowshares. I almost feel like I want more Lodestone Golems. Like, this together is pretty cool. Looks like opponent is paying the tax. Interestingly, leaving up their Wasteland rather than a red source. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and just go for a Swords to Plowshares at end step here. I'm fine with it costing me 2 life. And I succeed. Ooh, a new Esper Sentinel. Yeah, I will go ahead and play that. Like this. Or do I want to try to gain more life? If I attack like this, my opponent could trade 1 construct for an Aethersworn Canonist, but then they take 5. They still double block Lodestone, and I could lose that. Could also just like move to an Esper Sentinel and attack in. I think I'm good with attacking with 2 bodies like this. I've got the superior board by quite a bit. I didn't think we were going to beat that second Urza Saga, but now it looks like the odds are pretty good that I will. Okay, yeah, they want to make the 1-for-1 trade. I'm good with that. Oh, it's not a 1-for-1 trade. Because I deal 1 damage to their remaining construct, and then it shrinks down to a 1/1. That was about the best. That was way better than losing the lodestone here. Um, Honestly, at this point, let's equip this to an Esper Sentinel. Just diversify my threats a bit. If my opponent needs to cantrip, I'm pretty likely to get to draw some cards out of it and pull further ahead. Okay. I just equip to lodestone and trample over. Yep. I'll go ahead and bash in. Yeah, that's lethal. Block the lodestone. Still lethal. Yep. All right. Good stuff. Or 0 or 1 cards. The nettle says it's okay. Needle's not great, but it stops Wasteland on my Urza Saga, which is cool. It also stops my opponent's Urza Saga when that's something that I need to do. Lantern is also kind of medium minus. The Boz is kind of medium minus. Canonists are kind of whatever. Like, I want this card. I don't think it matters too much what I cut, honestly. I could also see just going down a Ravager, keeping more 1-drops to enable Metalcraft early on. Ravager hasn't done, like, super hot this league. Keep Reno is about a perfect hand. Assuming my Pithing Needle resolves and I never get Wastelanded, I just make a billion Urza Saga Construct tokens. I guess like an early Ragavan could be scary, but we dodged that bullet. No shuffle from my opponent. Alright, so let's play our stuff. Alright, it seems like my opponent was F6'd there. Pithing Needle name Wasteland. Okay, this is not on yet. I couldn't cast anything anyway. Good stuff. What do you have for me? I guess you could, like, Prismatic Ending away a Pithing Needle and then Wasteland my stuff. Like, that was a line that was theoretically possible. Okay. Gonna have, like, a Ragavan? Nope. I guess at this point I'm just hoping not to get Meltdowned. I also have to decide if I want to, like, better play around. Well, I probably play around Stifle since my opponent showed it to me and just, like, main phase make my construct. Okay. Alright, Ancient Tomb. Make the idiot. My Mox Opal is now on, so I could attempt a Swords to Plowshares on my opponent's turn. I'm not 100% sure if I would do that given the opportunity to. But I can pretty easily play around a Daze on my turn. Yep, okay. Goodbye Construct. I float the mana here so that if my opponent tries to dash a Ragavan, I can Swords to Plowshares. Okay. I mean, I'll absolutely bite. Show me Daze. Oh, a Force of Will. Sure, that's fine. So I'll take 2 here, go back down to 19. That Stoneforge is not going to do you any good. And that can poop back to your hand. Portable Hole is maybe fine in a bit. Alright. We do the Urza Saga thing. What do I want? Could Soul Guide Lantern to better play around a Murktide Regent. I haven't seen one from my opponent yet, but they're probably in deck. I could also just grab the Shadow Spear. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take this life gain. Right, 1 mana here. Play a new Urza Saga. Now, go ahead and equip this. The next turn I'm going to be attacking with at least a 6/6, maybe more. Dash Ragavan, no longer something that I'm worried about. Although, like, Dash Ragavan plus Lightning Bolt could kill a construct, technically. Alright, sure. Okay, that's a Wasteland that my opponent can't activate. Uh-huh. You gain control of my construct. A little annoying. Nope. Stage 1. I'm always playing this. I'm always activating Urza's Saga. Am I casting Portable Hole? I could. I could also just, like, wait and use it as a trick for the next turn. Yeah, I think I'll use it as a trick for the next turn. Kind of let my opponent think they're safer than they are. I'll just re-equip this here. And then next turn I'll go for a Portable Hole. And probably kill Dak. I don't think Dak is super good in my opponent's deck. Like, stealing a construct is cool and all, but, you know, it could have been a Murktide Regent, you know? Okay, EE on 1 is quite potent here. It lets me get wastelanded and greatly decreases my artifact count. I'm still going to get to kill Dak this turn unless my opponent's last card is a removal spell. Okay, it was the Ragavan. That was still there. Alright, so, am I just removing both of these? Probably. Well, Portable Hole, and just use that on the construct. I will Swords to Plowshares Ragavan. I have 3 mana now, so I can Nettle Cyst. And this kills Dak. And I think I should win pretty handily from here. My opponent will need, like, an expressive iteration, probably like this turn, to not just fall behind. Because I am attacking for a shit ton next turn. Yeah. That's an attack for 10. Good stuff. I think that's going to round out the league with a 3-2 here, assuming I don't get, like, meltdowned or something crazy. Yeah, that's a 3-2. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Medium. Deck is not bad, but I don't feel like the deck is particularly tight, and let me show you what I mean. Like, normally if you're playing an Arcbound Ravager deck, you just have, like, a ton of artifact lands and a ton of expendable artifacts, but we don't have a ton of expendable artifacts in this deck. We have only 4 artifact lands, so we can't just go and sacrifice all these to Ravager to really power up Ravager in just, like, the maximum way. This isn't Vintage where we have, like, a whole bunch of Moxen as well. You know, we have 4 Moxes, and we only get 1 in play at a time. The Ravager, I don't think ever, like, super meaningfully moved counters around in the league. Like, maybe we did, like, once, but we didn't, like, dump a bunch of counters onto Gingerbrute or dump a bunch of counters onto Esper Sentinel to power it up. Now, that said, the whole, like, Stoneforge Mystic for Cauldra plus Urza Saga Ancient Tomb thing was pretty powerful, so I think exploring that core more is good. Whether or not, like, the rest of the stuff that's here is the correct supporting cast, hard to say. As far as the sideboard goes, I feel like our sideboard is absolutely fantastic versus combo, and then kind of medium versus fair stuff. I just, like, randomly boarded in the Nettle Cest in most of the rounds because I, like, felt like it was okay. Now maybe we're pretty good against fair stuff as the whole, but it did feel like I was a little bit soft versus Bant. You know, there wasn't anything like, say, a Court of Grace in the sideboard or anything to just kind of help us grind against decks with a lot of card advantage. But yeah, I think this is a really cool idea and is worth exploring further. Utopia Mycon, maybe you're onto something. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button. It's the easiest way to support me for free. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you want to try out this deck or get one of your own decks on the channel, that information is available in the video description. Have a great rest of the day, and, you know, maybe check out that sponsored top deck at some point. See ya!